Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Midday News on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Anthony Momojo. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Iconsat. Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Olurunmi Tinubu, has donated 1 billion naira to support tuberculosis initiatives across the country and advocated for local vaccine manufacturing. The donation was announced by the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Muhammad Pate, via his X handle. The contribution was made during the high-level event, Political Leadership to End Tuberculosis, which took place alongside the 38th board meeting of the Stop Tuberculosis Partnership Global. Lagos State Special Offences Court in Ikeja has set January 7, 2025 to decide on the objection raised by the former Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele regarding the $4.5 billion and 2.8 billion naira fraud charges brought against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Emefiele, along with his co-defendant Henry Omole, is facing 26 counts filed by the EFCC before Justice Rahman Oshodi. Emefiele's lawyer, Olalekan Ojo, SAN, argued that the court lacks territorial jurisdiction to hear the case in Lagos. He contended that the alleged offenses, including abuse of office, were committed outside the jurisdiction of the Ikeja Special Offences Courts. The Senate has directed the Federal Capital Territory Minister Nyesom Wike to immediately halt all ongoing property demolitions in Abuja. This resolution followed concerns over alleged irregularities and hardship caused by the demolitions. In addition, the Senate summoned the minister to appear before an ad hoc committee formed to investigate the demolition exercises. The committee, chaired by Deputy Senate President Senator Jibril Barrow, has been given 2 weeks to submit its findings. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has announced plans to seek an amendment to the Electoral Act 2022 to clarify issues surrounding result management, particularly the manual transfer and electronic transmission of election results. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu disclosed this during a meeting with resident electoral commissioners in Abuja. He said that the proposal is one of the 8 legislative changes arising from the 2023 general elections. They require National Assembly action. The General Secretary of the Lagos State Chapter of the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors, Folusho Ogunrinde, has criticized the federal government's refusal to compensate landowners without buildings who were displaced by the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway project. Folusho, while in a chat with the legal and property expert, described the policy as unconstitutional and unjust, as he noted that denying compensation for land undermines equity and justice. He said the 99-year lease system in Nigeria further underscores the value of land as an asset, as this lease is renewable. He further stressed that if government requires compensation for the renewal of a lease or when public use necessitates land acquisition, individuals and private owners deserve similar recognition and compensation for their land when expropriated. The Managing Director and Chief Executive of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, Olubunmi Kuku, has said that 80% of emissions from the Murtala Mohammed International Airport emanated from electricity consumption. Olubunmi Kuku stated this during a stakeholder engagement on carbon emission management, which brought together stakeholders in aviation industry, including airline operators, fuel suppliers, and by Katini Aviation Service Limited, amongst others. Represented by the Director of Special Duties, Henry Agbebire Kuku, emphasized that aviation industry is highly sensitive to bad weather and climate change, noting that the aviation business was at risk without stakeholders taking collaborative efforts on carbon emissions. The authority is, however, galvanizing airport stakeholders across the country to deepen collaboration towards reducing carbon emissions, especially at the Murtala Muhammed International Airport, Lagos. The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Muhammad Pate, says the federal government is in a process of procuring essential medicines to ensure quality, availability, and affordability of drugs in public facilities. Pate made the statement in Abuja at an event held in commemoration of the Universal Health Coverage Day. He noted that the 3-year presidential initiative for unlocking the healthcare value chain was unveiled a year ago to save lives, reduce physical and financial pain, and produce health for all Nigerians. United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization says for the second straight year, conflict zones have proven dangerous for journalists and media workers, with 2024 seeing at least 68 deaths in the line of duty. More than 60% of these killings occurred in countries experiencing conflict, the highest percentage in over a decade. According to UNESCO new data, the report highlights that 42 journalists were killed in conflict zones this year, including 18 in Palestine, which recorded the highest toll. The Sokoto State Police Command has arrested 2 individuals, including a dismissed Army officer, Austin Anthony, for alleged car theft. During a press briefing, the command's spokesman, ASP Ahmad Rufai, said Anthony, previously dismissed for losing custody of a Boko Haram detainee, was paraded along his accomplice, Mansour. Anthony reportedly used the military uniform and a fake rank of major to evade arrest. Rufai said the suspect admitted to being involved in car theft since his dismissal and had previously been arraigned for similar offense in August 2024. The Nigerian Navy Oguta Naval Base has pledged tight security for the people of Eziosu community in Ogwato local government area of the state during the upcoming Yuletide season. This assurance was given during a free medical outreach organized by the Navy in line with the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala's ambition to promote the health and well-being of residents. Correspondent Amarachi Ibe was there for Global Television.
In his address during the free medical checkup, the commanding officer of the Oguta Naval Base, Commando M.B. Sanusi, represented by the executive officer of the Oguta Naval Base, Commander Okeme Anthony, assured residents of the Navy's readiness to safeguard lives and property during the festive season.
This was aimed at fostering a better civil-military relations. Naval Base Oguta is really impressed with the turnout. We had over 300 persons for this medical outreach. But we are sure the good people of Eziosu community that they will be safe. The Naval Base Oguta would ensure constant presence around here to make the season very enjoyable and peaceful and secured for them all.
The Navy's free medical outreach exercise provides a range of services, including blood pressure and blood sugar checks, consultations, distributions of essential medications, and insecticide-treated nets. Many beneficiaries expressed gratitude.
I am very happy for the arrival of the mobiles for general treatment for our children and for the old.
I am very much excited because this is the first of its kind. Since 50 years ago or thereabouts, I've been in this community. I've never seen this kind of gesture.
Students from Eziosu Community School also benefited from the outreach, receiving sanitary pads, body spray and writing materials to support their hygiene and education.
The free medical checkup, everything that they have done, I pray that the Lord Almighty will replenish all the finances which they have used in coordinating this program. I pray that the Lord will replenish.
By the Navy's in our community, it's a free giving day of medications and other gifts for students. I'm very much happy to receive a gift from them, and here is my gift. I appreciate our efforts so much.
As the UTAD season approaches, the Nigerian Navy's proactive efforts in Eziosu and its environs highlights their commitment to ensuring a safe, healthy, and joyful celebration for all. From Owerri, Amarachi Ibe, reporting for Global TV News.
You're watching Midday News on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. When Midday News returns, federal government threatens to demolish illegal structures on Lagos shoreline. Details of these as well as foreign and sports stories coming right after the break. Please stay with us. Back. Breaking business power generation rose to a high of 3,624.34 megawatts following the restoration of the national grid by engineers of the Transmission Company of Nigeria after the grid collapsed the preceding day. It was also gathered that the federal government had to intervene in tackling gas supply to generation companies after suppliers of the product reportedly halted gas supply to Gencos due to a debt of about 2.7 trillion naira. It was also reported that wholesale gas producing companies had abruptly stopped the supply of natural gas to the power generation companies for electricity production over the non-payment of debt accrued from previous supplies. The board of the World Bank Group is expected to meet and decide on approving a $500 million loan to Nigeria today to boost rural access and agricultural marketing in the country. According to the information obtained from the Washington-based institution, the loan is for the Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Project Scale-Up. It is designed to bridge the gap between the rural communities and the broader marketplace, facilitating smoother access to agricultural markets, schools, hospitals, and promoting social cohesion among rural population. The federal government has warned developers on the Lagos shoreline to regularize their projects or face revocation and possible demolition. This was disclosed in a statement by the Director of Press and Public Relations at the Ministry of Housing and Urban Developments, Salisu Haba. The ultimatum was delivered by the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Dangiwa, following his inspection of the Lagos Lagoon estates and other shoreline fronts. On the foreign scene, a fire at the private hospital in southern India killed at least 6 people. Police with more than 24 others injured in the blaze. Building fires are common in India due to a lack of firefighting equipment and a routine disregard for safety regulations. All 6 victims were found unconscious inside a lift at the hospital in the city of Dindigul. President-elect Donald Trump sat with world leaders in Paris last weekend to marvel at the restored Notre Dame Cathedral and which Islamic fighters in Syria had aimed, and where jeeps on the roads to Damascus finalizing the fall of Assad regime. In this split-scene moment of global news, the U.S. president-elect, seated between the French first couple, still had an eye on a stunning turn of events in the Middle East. He posted the same day on his through social network, "Syria is a mess, but is not our friend." A Chinese businessman described as a close confidant of the Duke of New York has lost an appeal against a decision to bar him from the UK on national security grounds. The man, known only as H6, brought the case after being banned from entering the country in March 2023. Judges heard that the businessman had formed a close working relationship with Prince Andrew, receiving an invite to his birthday party in 2020 and being told he could act on his behalf when dealing with potential investors in China. The presidents of Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo will meet Sunday in Angola for a fresh round of talks aimed at ending the conflict in the DRC's troubled east. Since its re-emergence in 2021, the Kigali-backed M23 militia, which claims to defend ethnic Tutsis, has seized swathes of DRC territory, displacing thousands and triggering a humanitarian crisis. In early August, Angola mediated a fragile truce that stabilized the situation at the front line. But both sides continue to exchange fire, and clashes have intensified since late October. And in sports, China jailed a former Premier League star and men's national coach, Li Ti, for 20 years for bribery, snaring one of the country's greatest football figures in a sweeping government crackdown by President Xi Jinping has waged an unrelenting campaign against a deep-seated official corruption since coming to power over a decade ago. Anti-graft authorities took an aim at the sports industry in 2022 and have announced a string of convictions for former football administrators this week. And still in sport, Nigeria has been exempted from the first round of the qualifying series for the 2026 African Women's Cup of Nations, which will be hosted by Morocco for the third straight time. Nigeria is the record title holder of the competition, which was won by South Africa in 2022, and so the Super Falcons, alongside other top 6 ranked African teams, South Africa, Morocco, Zambia, Ghana, Cameroon, and Cote d'Ivoire, have received a pass to the second round of qualifiers. That's it on Midday News, and it came to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and on StarTimes channel 276 and free to air on Nikon-Sat. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @Global TV NG. I am Anthony Momodu. Thank you for watching.